All right, so the first of our two jerk movements is the push jerk. Now, this is the movement that you will predominantly be doing when it comes to workouts. You wouldn't want to push press if the weight was relatively heavy or the volume was high, simply because it would burn the arms out a lot quicker. And you wouldn't want to split jerk because, I mean, obviously you'd be splitting your feet wide and then having to reset every single time. So the push jerk is our preferable movement, all right? It's a movement that a lot of people will tend to use as well when it comes to a heavy jerk. However, just so we know, if you were to see a heavy clean and jerk come up, ideally, if we build the right technique and the confidence, we should be squat cleaning and split jerking, as it allows us to get under the bar more and shift more weight, right? That's always the goal. So this is the movement that we would see mainly in our workout. So it's important that we understand what is actually going on and what we're actually looking for. So we've already gone through the dip, right? That position where we're in that position to jump the bar up, just like with our Olympic lifting, when we talk about getting to that launch and jumping the bar up. Obviously not an actual jump, but it's that same kind of motion of driving up. Same thing with our jerk motion. So from here, we're focusing on snappy extension to make the bar weightless. Now, the difference with a jerk to one of our press movements, so with strict press, it is all shoulders. Obviously, it's coming off the shoulders and we're having to press it out. The push press, we get that little bit of weightlessness first, but we only get the bar to around eye level and then have to finish by pressing out whilst everything else locks out. The push jerk is the first where we are starting to think less about pressing the bar and more about catching the bar, okay? So because the weight gets heavier, so there should be a natural kind of like strength number curve with this. So like your strict press should be restricted at some point. You would then go to push press, which should be then restricted at some point. You can then go to push jerk, which again gets restricted, and then split jerk would be your preferable movement. So the reason we can shift more weight with this than we can a push press is because we move underneath the bar, right? So from that dip position, we are focusing on driving the bar off, just like we would with a push press. However, difference now is instead of pressing the bar out, finishing the movement with a press, we are thinking about moving underneath the bar and punching out to catch the barbell, okay? So we drive off, and ideally we want to be moving under enough where we're not really having to press the bar out, and instead punching and catching, okay? So one way that we get taught this on our CrossFit level ones, and that you'll see a lot of CrossFit coaches cover, it looks a bit silly, but it's really good in terms of timing, is if you stand there without a bar and you dip down, and then someone shouts go, your aim is to get your arms to punch whilst you're in the air and then end up in this quarter squat stance with the arms up. Then we stand, right? That is the same motion we're trying to create on that barbell. So one of my favorite kind of like cues for a push jerk is think quarter squat. So after that dip, when we drive the bar out, we think quarter squat to send the ass back to be able to catch that barbell, right? What we don't want is that dip, drive, and then we end up in this position where the weight is going through our knees and it just fucks you back up, all right? Doesn't even feel nice when you've got nothing. So never mind a heavy barbell. So we dip, we drive out, we think quarter squat, all right? So to show you that in action, from here into that dip, drive the bar up and catch. Dip, drive the bar up and catch, okay? Like so. And then when it comes to in a workout, we then start to use this in a touch and go motion of drive out as it comes down, in to that next rep. There you go. There's the push jerk.